Before we start, please silence and turn off all phones and pagers. I made a bad joke about pagers the other night. Nobody laughed, so I'm not going to do it tonight. Don't patronize me. See, that got a laugh. All right. Insult humor. I wish I was as good as Don Rickles. Okay. So a few nights ago, I've been thanking people because that's what you do when you put on a show like this and you have a lot of help. And the first night, I thanked Esther and Shira. Yeah, good job. Second night, I thanked Michael and David. Yeah, good job. And tonight, I have to thank a slew of people. Okay, so we'll start with the people that I can think of off the top of my head because I don't always remember. Our two very helpful ladies taking your tickets and making us some money, Alona and Datya. Yes. Our great tech guy, Jeremy. And the other member of the triumvirate that I haven't thanked yet, Chava Foreman, your insight has been tremendous. Thank you very much. The play is about an hour and a half to 2 hours. There will be a short intermission of about 15 minutes in between acts 2 and 3. I think that'll do it. Enjoy the show. Oh, yes. People mentioned that I should tell you guys it is a comedy, so don't be afraid to laugh. Because the first night, it took the audience a while to get warmed up. So, it is a comedy. You can laugh all you want, enjoy that, and have a great show.
Hey, Camille! Did you see the game last night?
No.
Oh man, you should have seen it! Etienne was down 2-1 late in the second half. When Lark passed to Beretta for the tying goal. And then in stoppage time, Speedo got the ball and he was like a hey and a hoo, and then he kicked it, and it was a goal!
I hate football.
Soccer, Camille. In France, they call it soccer. Come on!
So, what's going on here today?
Oh, I heard something about a murder at the Price estate.
Oh, scandalous.
Good afternoon, Philip. Camille.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Morrison.
Still at the law books?
It's my first case. A murder.
Murder? That's not the point. A case is a case. The police have handed you a suspect, haven't they?
Yes, the maid.
All right. Fire a few questions at her. Get her to sign a statement. Clap her into prison, and then on to something else.
Oh, is that how it's done?
Sure, I worked in dozens of these. Believe me, it's the best way.
What about this? An accused person must be protected from any infringement of his or her rights under the law, from the police or from the law itself. That is the first and the most sacred duty of an examining magistrate.
Well, if you believe everything you read, let's have a look at the summary of evidence from the police.
Sure, it's right here.
In an interrogation, don't fumble for papers like that. The witness may get the wrong idea, that you're not sure of yourself. Here, let me show you. Locate the document in advance, keep your finger on it, and then flip it out.
That's not bad. Let me try that.
All right. On the witness, give me the works. Don't spare me. Very nice.
Did you know that a loaded revolver is kept in the glove compartment of the Rolls Royce?
No, I didn't.
Ah, I intend to refresh your memory. Damn.
Don't worry, it takes a bit of practice, that's all.
Maybe I should just stick to my books. What I know.
You'll be fine. Say, the girl was found naked?
Yes. She and the chauffeur were lovers. They quarreled violently. She shot him. Seems to be quite a bit of that in Paris these days.
Only in the winter people are cooped up together. Ah, you been up now and then, eh?
Yes, once too often, apparently.
Well, there you are. A snap. Nothing to it. Perhaps that have been blue ribbons for you.
Good afternoon, Sabine. Austin.
Madame LeBlanc?
Just thought I'd stop by and see how you were getting along. First interrogation today, isn't it?
Yes, in a few minutes, in fact.
That shooting in North Park yesterday, the maid and the chauffeur making love in a room, outburst of jealousy, bang. Well, can't expect those people to watch television forever. This is there. Very nice. The maid was found on the scene of the crime with the murder weapon in her hand. Splendid. Congratulations, Sabine, an open and shut case.
Well, her story. So the door opened behind them, a shot was fired, and then she promptly fainted.
That's her story. You warned her that if she's sick to that, she'll be guilty of murder and contempt of court. By the way, that's not just my opinion. That's how the chief prosecutor sees it, too.
The chief? Has he been following the case as well?
Are you mad? Do you honestly expect the chief prosecutor to concern himself with the case of a maid and a chauffeur bouncing from bed to bed until one of them died of it?
Well, I just don't see how the chief could have formulated such an opinion if he hadn't been
The
following
maid and her victim both worked in the household of Benjamin Price.
Price. That's a bank, isn't it?
Yes, it's a bank. Tell him, Austin.
In Paris, the bank. The prices are worth billions.
And a fine old family. Before her marriage, she was a San Juan.
In the First Crusade, one of their prices rode beside the king.
Exactly so. He was, in fact, the treasurer.
See what you mean.
Of course you do. Get a confession from the girl, a short one if possible. You'll be home in time for an early dinner. Good luck, Sabine. Let me know the moment you've disposed of this case, and I'll pass the good news along. To the top.
You know, Morrison, these Prices must be very nice, kind people. After all, they could have tried the girl themselves, found her guilty, and then guillotined her in the kitchen without consulting anybody.
The rich like things done their own way. Otherwise, what would be the point of having all that money?
Damn.
I know how you feel, but what's the harm? The girl is guilty, isn't she?
So what if she is? She should be tried by a judge and a jury, not by a social register in a bank.
You're taking this too seriously. This is a business, and it's a chief prosecutor who runs it. Now just think along those lines. Hello, Madame Sabine.
Hello, Mr. Marston.
Oh, hello, Antoinette. Come in.
You don't mind? I'm not interrupting something important?
No, I was just having a law lesson from the chief prosecutor.
Perhaps I should see about that notebook you'll be needing.
Darling, what's wrong?
Nothing. Now.
You're not angry with me for coming here?
No, you came right in the nick of time.
Your first case, I wanted to wish you good luck.
Antoinette,
Well, I need something to keep my mind off apartment hunting.
read a good book, or take a cold shower.
If you knew the kind of places I've seen, dark, dirty halls, dingy little rooms, and we can't even afford those.
Paris is for tourists. In Lyon, we had a beautiful apartment. Modern, sunny, all conveniences.
What conveniences? It was 300 miles from Christian Dior.
There was that drawback.
Darling, the best possible incentive for any young magistrate is an extravagant young wife.
That's not a law, only a rumor.
Well, I've been right so far, haven't I? Didn't I tell you that within a year we'd be out of Lyons and in Paris?
Homeless, but closer to Christian Dior. Antoinette, what if I were no good here? They send me back to my old job in the law library.
Oh, Paul.
They might.
Paul, what's wrong? What's worrying you?
I don't know. I just don't seem to fit in here. They seem to do things differently in Paris.
Oh, Paul.
Well, not those things.
It's just that you're new here, but you won't be for long, and you're a brilliant lawyer.
I hope that's enough.
It is for me.
Come in. Morrison, this is your office as much as it is mine. There's no need to knock before entering.
Thank you. You've cut yourself?
Eh?
Lipstick.
It's just about time for our first witness.
Yes, now would you go, Antoinette? Find us a nice apartment. 10 rooms, 4 baths, a terrace, and for very little money. That's an order.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, Mr. Marston. Goodbye, Paul.
Feeling better?
Yes, quite a bit.
My wife depresses me. Shall I see if the girl is here?
Yes, let's have her in, shall we? What do you say, Morrison? The friendly, fatherly approach to this one?
The silent treatment. Let her sweat for a bit. Chances are she'll break down and confess before you ask the first question.
Then by all means, the silent treatment.
No, smoking.
Was it for today? I can easily come back tomorrow. The guide out there told me a funny joke. Two old maids own a drugstore. Oh, I see. We're waiting for the magistrate, is that it?
I am the magistrate.
You? All right. You don't look it. He's more the type.
You'll have to take my word for it.
I didn't say it to hurt your feelings.
Be still. Your name, please.
Josepha Lantenay,
Your age.
24. As a rule, I don't look it, but these last few days.
Your occupation.
Parlor maid. Incidentally, your office is filthy. It is. You should speak to your charwoman. I'm a parlor maid myself, so I know how easy it is to sweep under the
Please
rug.
don't wander from the question.
Oh, sorry, but it isn't healthy to work with such a lot of dust flying around.
Josepha Lantenay. I'm charged by law as an examining magistrate for the higher court to conduct an inquiry into the death by shooting of one Miguel Ostis.
Poor Miguel. I can hardly believe it. He was so alive
And furthermore, I'm empowered to question any and all witnesses and suspects in this matter, to interrogate them, and if necessary, to confront them with one another. My findings may be a basis for the arrest and imprisonment of any person or persons sufficiently implicated, and will act as a guide for the judge on any subsequent trial. Do you understand?
I am innocent.
I didn't ask you that.
I thought I'd tell you to save you the trouble of questioning me.
It's no trouble at all, let me assure you.
All right. Shall I tell you what happened in my own words?
Certainly not. Above all, Josepha Lantenay, you must be absolutely truthful in your replies. If you should tell even the slightest lie...
Why should I lie? I have nothing to fear. As my father used to say, if you're poor, there are two worries you don't have. Pickpockets and lawyers. Oh, I'm sorry. You're a lawyer, aren't you? I'm sorry about what I said.
All right.
I didn't mean to be frustrated.
All right! Are your parents living?
My father, yes. My mother, I don't know. I never knew her or anything about her. Strange, isn't it? Generally, it's the father one can't identify. 4 days after I was born, my mother ran away with a railroad conductor. I guess it didn't make a very good impression.
Your father's a farmer, correct?
And a wine grower. I worked for him until Madame Price hired me. My father's vineyard was only 2 kilometers away from their chateau. I was their parlor maid for 2 summers before I came to Paris.
And Miguel Ostis was already in their employ.
Yes, chauffeur. In his uniform, he was something. Poor Miguel. You know something? At first, he didn't appeal to me at all.
Judging from what you were wearing at the time of the shooting, I'd say that feeling wore off.
I think I liked being found that way.
How long before you changed your mind about Ostis?
Not long. I didn't even know it was happening. Suddenly, I was in love.
In love? With the man who assaulted you?
What?
Testimony of Emile Bremont, janitor. Referring to Ostis, you described him as, and I quote, that crazy Spaniard who assaulted me in my father's fields.
Actually, it was on the way home from there. Say, what have you got in that book?
On the way home from there. Then he did assault you.
Wow, assault? I wouldn't want to make any trouble for Miguel now.
Is the witness lying? Did you say this?
I might have been mad at Miguel that day.
Would you answer the question?
All right. What do you want me to tell you?
Well, since it seems to confuse you so much, let's let this question pass. This would be a simpler question. When you met Ostis, were you a virgin?
What's being investigated here? I mean, justice is one thing, but
Answer!
my father never even asked me such a question.
A few days in jail will make you more cooperative. Morrison, get the guard.
No, don't. Some questions. You're sure you're the judge? Is he really?
Morrison, the guard.
No, no. I'll tell you. Well, this is all confidential, isn't it? All right. What was it again? Did he assault me or?
Read the question again, Morrison, please.
When you met Ostos, were you a virgin?
Yes, of course.
Oh, you mean you were?
I mean, I remember the question.
Once and for all, will you answer it?
All right. You're in such a hurry to know you think we were engaged. You know how it is in the provinces. Boys and girls working side by side in the fields or the vineyards all summer, cooling off with a swim now and then, getting warm from the work. Nobody wears very much. You'd like a stiletto.
I don't doubt it.
Oh, don't go in July. It rains quite a lot.
Now then, you and the deceased, Ostis.
You make him sound so very dead.
Correction. You and Miguel Ostis. When? Why? How?
When? Why? How? Guess I'm lucky you don't want pictures. All right, I'm telling. It was in August, the second or third Wednesday. I know it was Wednesday because we both had the day off. The heat was awful that day, but at sundown it was better. We walked to the vineyards to say hello to my father and then back along the river. The animals were being driven in from the fields. There's a sort of haze over everything along the river
Please,
bank.
I see the scene very clearly.
I want you to understand how it happened.
Oh, I'll understand. Just tell me what happened.
I tripped over a root. I grabbed Miguel to keep from falling, and somehow we both fell.
As simply as that?
It was our day off. The heat, you know. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't wearing very much. Anyway, there we were, Miguel and I. Doesn't that give you the general idea?
You didn't try and fight him off. You put up no resistance.
In that heat? Oh, I cried a little bit afterwards, but it wasn't because I was sorry it had happened. No, it was something Miguel said that broke me up. He lit a cigarette, took a long puff. Why do so many men smoke afterwards? Anyway, Miguel lit a cigarette, took a long puff, and then he said, "Long live the mother who made you." I fell in love with him right then and there.
I should warn you that if Miguel Ostis did try and overpower you and force his attentions on you, that might appear as extenuating circumstances on your behalf.
Forced his attentions on me. I like that. That's a nice way to put it. Say, why do I need extenuating circumstances?
Oh, one never knows. They come in handy.
You don't think I did it, do you?
I've not yet formed an opinion. However, if you're found with a gun in your hand and there's a body on the floor...
But I liked Miguel. You believe that, don't you? Please believe that much.
All right.
Thank you. He's nice. Uh-oh, that book again.
Ostis talked of suicide, did he?
Spaniards, they talk.
You don't think he meant it?
Him? Suicide? The man who used to cross himself before he made love? Oh, I never mentioned it to him. I mean, who knows what people are really thinking at a time like that? Me, for instance, I like to pretend that I'm on the deck of a big sailboat with seagulls flapping all around. Or sometimes that I'm at the top of a big mountain above the clouds. Oh, you're not interested?
If you go on like this, we'll be here all night.
Just us.
Just you. Please do your questions. Don't stop straying from the point.
Right?
Ostis beat you, did he?
Well, you know, we were in love.
That's why he beat you?
Never when he was drinking.
I have here testimony from witnesses who say that in the month of September and October, you exhibited marks on your face, arms, and body.
It's just
Bruises given to you by Miguel Ostis.
It was just in a conversation when brags a little.
You quarreled bitterly. Don't deny it. Here's testimony from neighbors who say that your fighting disturbed their sleep.
Ha!
What kind of an answer is that?
Neighbors. Our fighting didn't bother them. What disturbed their sleep was when we made up. Miguel. He had a terrible temper, but he certainly didn't hold a grudge.
Your relationship was continuously violent. Do you deny that?
What else could it be? He was a Spaniard. He'd sit up half the night at the window sometimes without speaking a single word. Then he'd throw himself at me, tearing at my clothes. It was a great nuisance, I promise you, because sometimes he'd just tear and rip every which way, and I hate sewing. Strange, isn't it? Housework, cooking, I love all that. But for some reason, I detest sewing. Oh, you're getting annoyed with me again.
If you'd just avoid wandering from the facts, please.
I knew it. I could tell from the look on your face how often I'd see that same expression on Miguel, and the next minute, he'd clown me one.
It's a temptation.
You're not the type.
You're very perceptive.
One learns about men from men. Poor Miguel. He had only two passions in his life. The other was bullfights.
From time to time, he seems to have gotten the two confused.
Poor Miguel. You should have seen his room. Bullfight posters and souvenirs all over the place. He even took a Spanish paper for the reviews. Poor Miguel. Just last week, he was all worked up about a corrida in Mexico City. Louis Miguel Domingo with Rodrigo Bulls, the most dangerous breed. Horns like sabers. Domingo made the first 2 passes kneeling in front of the barrera, and he himself planted the banderillas. Then, a great faena, and what a kill! A single thrust of the sword, to the hilt. The crowd went mad, and the judges gave him both ears, the tail, and 1 hoof. Even in Mexico, that's a lot. Olay.
Oh God, how did we get on this? Blow your nose.
I haven't got a handkerchief.
Here.
Thank you. I hate to cry, excuse me.
Go right ahead. Are you better now?
Yes. I'm sorry. It was just thinking about Miguel. Do you think, wherever he is now, there are bullfights?
Bullfights? I don't know, maybe.
Well, maybe at least a Spanish paper with reviews. I'm fine now. I won't do it again.
Keep it. You never can tell.
No, I'm fine now. I won't need a handkerchief. I promise you.
You knew Ostis wanted to get married. To someone else?
Got ambitious suddenly. This girl, her parents are rich. They own a butcher shop.
And you weren't jealous?
Jealous of her father's money? A butcher shop in a good location? That's something. And my dowry. My father didn't even know about me and Miguel until I was in Paris. Then he sent me a wire. Don't come home and all is forgiven. Funny old pop.
Love or money? You knew Ostis would leave you.
What can I do about it? You don't think that gave me a reason for killing Miguel?
It happens, you know. A woman scorned.
You've got it all wrong. I kept reminding him about the money and telling him she was beautiful. Beautiful? Between us, a real dog.
So, you were reconciled to losing him. It didn't bother you.
What lasts forever?
Yet, he died in your room. And you were nude.
Please! I'll tell you about that. It was to be the last time. His idea, not mine, but I thought, well, so what? Why not part friends? I mean, after all, I liked him.
Apparently.
Poor Miguel. He was really in one of his moods. First he babbled in Spanish, then he cried. Really broke down and cried. And when I tried to console him, make him feel better, suddenly he was tearing at my clothes, throwing them all around the room, and cursing like a madman. Believe me, it's a good thing I wanted to part friends. I would have belted him with an ashtray. I hate that kind of hurly-burly. After all, it's not something you do for exercise, is it?
Strange, isn't it? Ostis was leaving you, yet by your own testimony, he was acting like a jealous madman.
He was funny in a lot of ways.
Why was Miguel Ostis jealous?
I don't know.
Did he have reason to be?
I don't know. Spaniard. Who knows why he was jealous?
Then he was jealous.
It was foolish. I shouldn't have told him.
Told him what?
Poor Miguel. Well, I told you I liked him, didn't I?
Repeatedly.
Well, I thought if he was leaving me, he'd suffer, thinking I was alone, so I told him there was someone else. It was a lie, I admit that, but out of kindness.
Just to make him feel better. There was no other man?
How could there be? When I give my heart, I give it all, to the hilt.
He was so considerate, even though he was going to marry Solange Duval.
Solange. Only a butcher would name his daughter Solange.
Ostis and the Duval girl went out together exactly once. They went to the movies, and all throughout the film she was hopelessly bored, because all Ostis talked about was you, and of his insane jealousy.
Liars, all of them. Test the scales in their butcher shop and you'll see what I mean.
Why was Miguel Ostis jealous? Of whom was he jealous?
I don't know. A crazy Spaniard who was jealous of shadows.
I present you now with the testimony of Madame Martha Herbeau,
Who?
the Price's cook.
Oh, camel face.
Madame Herbeau, interrogated by Inspector Colas of the police. Question. Was Miguel Ostis jealous? Answer. He was foaming like a fire extinguisher. Question. Why? Answer. He knew Joseph had been unfaithful to him, but he did not know with whom. Question. Do you suspect one man or many?
What?
Be still. One man. Joseph isn't really a whore, just bed-minded.
Well, at last, a kind word.
And finally this, from Madame Herbeau. Just 2 days before the shooting, Ostis burst into my kitchen. He swore he would find the man Joseph had been sleeping with, and then boom, boom, it would all be over quickly. Fact is, Ostis never dreamed of leaving you. You urged the butcher's daughter on him because you had left him.
hide in my room. And you're forgetting how I was dressed.
I'll get to that. The cook swears that for 6 weeks, Ostis complained bitterly that your door was locked to him.
And between the book and the cook, you'll drive me out of my mind.
All right. The fact of the matter is, you had no need to invent a lover. He existed. You discarded Ostis for another man.
So that's what you're investigating?
Is it true?
If I tell you, it all goes in that damned book. I didn't mind coming here. I thought you suspected me of killing Miguel. I mean, that at least is a crime. But all you ask me is what I did where, how, when, with who.
No more digressions. Is it true, yes or no?
All right. It's true.
Ah, thank you. Would you like some water?
You're being nice to me suddenly.
Well, we're nearly finished. We have your motive now.
My what?
Your motive for the crime. Joseph Valentine, I now charge you with the murder of Miguel Ostis.
Well, good for you. Say, is this a full-time job you have here?
You were found on the scene of the crime with the murder weapon in your hand. All that was missing was the motive.
As long as it's my motive, is it all right to tell me what it was?
The lover who supplanted Ostis. You killed Ostis to protect your lover from his jealous rage. Have you got all that?
Every word.
You look like a sensible fellow. You tell him this is silly.
Now look at me. We're now going to reconstruct the crime exactly as it happened.
I told you how it happened. I knew this was coming. Men.
No, stop.
Oh? You don't want it exactly as it happened? Didn't he say exactly?
As a matter of fact, he did.
Sit down. What are the dimensions of your room?
It's a maid's room. Don't you know what they're like? No, chances are you wouldn't. I never measured it. I suppose it's about 12 feet long, 8 or 10 feet wide.
And how is it furnished?
Chest of drawers, a small table, an armchair, a straight chair by the window. Oh yes, and a bed.
How big a bed?
Big enough.
You told Ostis that you had a new lover.
Yes, I had to do it. It seemed the decent thing to do. But I told him it was nothing, just a passing fancy, a little bit of foolishness.
He didn't believe you, did he?
At first he did, because I swore by the head of my papa. Poor papa. But then he started raving again. He'd swore he'd find the man and kill him. He rushed to get his coat, still cursing and raving.
And what did you do?
Well, I couldn't chase him. I was barefoot. I told him to stop acting like an idiot and come back to bed. It was my own fault for trying to part friends.
You didn't struggle with him for the gun.
What gun? We were in my bedroom, not a shooting gallery.
Now be sensible and listen to me. If you had struggled with him for the gun, to get it away from him, it could have gone off by accident. An unpremeditated shooting. Under the circumstances, hardly a crime at all.
You've got this thing about guns.
You just said Ostis was rushing out of your room to find your lover and kill him.
With a knife? Really, you know very little about the Spaniards.
Not all of us have had your opportunities for research. However, why don't Ostis' speech to the cook? He swore he would find your lover, and then boom, boom, it would all be over quickly. Does that sound like a knife to you?
Boom, boom! No, it doesn't. Boom, boom! You've got me there.
Did you know that a loaded revolver is kept in the glove compartment of the Rolls Royce?
Which Rolls Royce?
What?
We have 3.
You have? Let me see. Ah, the limousine. Do you deny it?
How should I know what goes on in the limousine or in the glove compartment?
But in my bedroom, new guns.
Very nice. But what about the gun that was found in your hand?
I was unconscious.
Conveniently. Do you know what this is? It's made by experts in the police department. This on the right is a microscopic enlargement of the bullet taken from the gun it fired that was in your hand. This on the left is a similar study of the gun, of the bullet taken from the body of Miguel Ostis.
Oh, how awful!
They are identical.
Oh, what a disgusting thing to carry about with you.
Furthermore, you had in your hand a .38 caliber semi-automatic Beretta pistol. The same weapon identified as the gun kept in the Rolls Royce. And don't say which Rolls Royce. The fact of the matter is, Ostis took the weapon from the car, brought it to your room, and when he threatened, as you yourself have testified, that you would find your lover and kill him, you shot him.
No, I swear that's not true.
By the head of your papa? Poor papa.
How can you hurt me so?
You're lying and concealing information. That means I have to dig deeper. Don't blame me if I strike a nerve. Morstan, chalk. Thank you, Morstan. shape of your room?
Is he always like
Pay
this?
attention. Indicate the location of your bed. Now then, don't be coy. Seems to have been a location as well known as the Eiffel Tower.
There!
Now then, the chest of drawers here by your bed. The window on the street side. Straight chair. Where was the door?
There.
Pure science of criminology will lead us to the point that... just study that for a minute. Fixed in your memory.
I like it. In the house they have funny pictures like that. Millions some of them cost, and not a bit better than yours.
You told me to study it.
Now think. Were the lights in your room on or off?
Off.
Positive.
Positive.
With Miguel, it was always in the dark. Poor Miguel. You see, he couldn't get over thinking it was a sin. Maybe it is, but turning off the lights doesn't change that. And the times I've stubbed my toe in the
You're
dark.
wandering again. Please, just stick to the facts.
Why don't you listen?
You might take your mind off guns and those dirty pictures of bullets.
All right, the facts.
There we were. The door opened, a shot was fired, he fell, and I fainted. Well, that's what you wanted. You asked me for it. Facts!
Who has had a key to your room?
Nobody.
Then how did the door open behind Ostis right before the shot was fired?
I don't know.
Now let's think. This all happened in the home with the banker Benjamin Price. Can you honestly imagine unknown intruders prowling the halls, opening locked doors, firing shots, and then vanishing like ghosts? That's a ridiculous story.
Sure, it's ridiculous.
It's the truth, that's why. Do you think I like it? When I told it to Inspector Colas, he took my temperature. He thought I had fever. I wish I could tell you a smooth, elegant story, but I'm telling you what really happened. I know it's terrible and clumsy, but it's the truth, and it's all I have.
Sit down. Morstan, note that I'm unimpressed by this outburst. What other visitors did you have?
When?
The night Ostis was killed.
I'm not allowed to have visitors in my room. That does sound funny, I admit, but poor Miguel. I mean, he wasn't really a visitor.
Will you answer the question?
Oh, I thought I did.
Simple yes or no will do it.
It's simple for you, but my head is spinning with questions and answers. I don't even know which is which.
Is this really so difficult? On the night Ostis was killed, did you have any other visitors? Yes or no?
No!
Thank you. And it leaves just you and the victim in your bedroom, does it?
It's a small room.
After the shooting, you immediately fainted?
Right away. Like that.
You fell beside the bed.
Yes, I can prove it because I still got the bump where I hit the bedpost on the way down.
Indicate the exact spot, please. Now, on the diagram.
There.
Now then, where was Ostis when the shot was fired?
There.
You and Ostis were about, say, 10 feet apart?
Yes, I suppose so.
Ah. Experts from the police department have verified that the shot was fired from a distance of 10 feet.
Of course! It's as I told you all along. The shot was fired from the hall when the door opened.
Or from here, from beside the bed, by you.
Please! I'm in my bedroom. I have nothing on, not a stitch. What would I be doing with a gun? Where would it be?
Oh, it could be anywhere. In the drawer, in your purse, anywhere.
You have a funny idea of what goes on in a girl's bedroom.
I dare say it came as a surprise to Ostis as well. Are you familiar with a lawyer who might represent you?
No.
You'll need one.
No. I don't want a lawyer. I know enough lawyers.
Don't be stubborn about this. Morstan, see the counsel assigned to her case.
I tell you, I don't want a lawyer.
Do you know the trouble you're in?
I'm choking on it.
There's more. Ostis didn't die immediately. He lived for a few moments, and he talked.
What? Oh, my poor Miguel. He saw himself dying? Oh, why did you tell me?
Because he talked. Do you know what this means? In the presence of witnesses, he said, Josefa, why did you do it?
Died that way, thinking I had killed him? Oh, Miguel, wherever you are now, you know I didn't do
It's
it.
a powerful accusation against you.
I know. Poor Miguel.
Stop saying poor Miguel. His troubles are over. Yours are just beginning. Do you know what this is? It's a warrant for your arrest. There's a guard out there waiting to take you to prison. After that, trial. From there, prison again. Or worse.
Why? Do I look like a killer? Or sound like one? Miguel and I were lovers once and he was still dear to me. Why would I kill him?
I told you why. to protect the man you love now.
I swear that's not true.
Then give me his name. Come on, out with it. The name of the man.
If the warrant is ready, I'm ready.
Suddenly you're hard and determined.
Can't I just go to prison without speeches?
You won't give me the name of the man?
No.
And you're telling me that you couldn't have killed Ostis to protect this man, when right here and now you're willing to risk everything for him?
That's my affair.
Mine too. Either shows me what you're capable of.
Very little about justice, and nothing about love.
Perhaps I'll learn from you, as Ostis did.
You're heartless.
You there, guard. Take her away. Get her out of here.
I'm ready.
Very good, extremely well handled. Truth is, I thought you were about to get your confession. If you'd press the matter a little bit harder.
Don't be an ass.
What?
She's innocent.
Innocent? Surely not. The file, the evidence, the way you questioned her?
I hammered her that way to show her the trouble she's in. If she talks long enough, the idiot, she'll chatter herself right up the steps to the guillotine.
Innocent? But where does that leave us?
Leaves us with a nice, juicy, unsolved murder.
Unsolved murder? The chief prosecutor hates those. What I mean to say is, if we have to give anyone the benefit of the doubt, should we give it to the chief prosecutor?
Come on, let's lock up. For my first day, I've had about enough.
A magistrate reading law books all day. I knew this would happen.
So, do you think she's guilty?
Look at her. How could she not be? Remember that case a few years back about the American soldier who was brainwashed to help the Reds? His mother was the guiltiest woman I've ever seen. Those dark, beady eyes. I swear they should have put me on the case. I would have had the whole thing figured out in 2 hours. So what do you think?
About the case or the girl?
Both.
Well, I don't know about the case, but I do know that the girl is a stone-cold fox.
Hello, Mr. Marston.
Hello, Madam Stephen. Come on in. He won't be long. He's with the chief prosecutor.
Was it because of the newspapers?
Probably.
But it wasn't Paul's fault. He was only doing his duty.
No more, no less. Your husband is fair and fearless, passionately concerned with the administration of justice. Those are wonderful qualities. If only we're a magistrate.
Is the chief difficult?
Difficult. When the chief was on the bench, it was known as Judge Necessity. Judge Necessity, get it? 'Cause necessity knows no law.
Oh, that's a good one.
If you don't mind, we're getting back in the case shortly. I'd like to get back to work.
Oh, yes, I know. Go right ahead. What's she like?
She? Oh, she.
Is she pretty?
Yes.
The picture in the newspaper this morning didn't look very pretty.
She isn't at first, but later one is aware of it.
Do you think she's innocent?
She says she is.
But don't they all say that?
She says it differently.
It's not fair. We just got here. We haven't even found an apartment. Why couldn't Paul get something nice? A white-collar case like a bank robbery. Why should he have this? And what right has she got to be innocent?
Who knows? The criminal mind.
And Paul's always for the underdog. It's a compulsion. Even if there isn't any underdog, he finds a dog and puts him under.
Ah, Morrison, you should have heard the old boy. Really remarkable lung power for a man of his years. Antoinette, what a nice surprise.
What happened, Paul?
Well, the chief began with the ringing affirmation of the great guiding principle of the courts. Equal justice under the law. Then he closed by swearing he'd kick my butt all the way back to Lyon.
Oh, Paul.
Chief was kidding, of course. He's a fantastic sense of humor, hasn't he, Morrison?
Fantastic.
It's inconvenient, don't you think? That the girl is innocent.
Yes, for any number of people, apparently. One funny, chattering idiot of a girl. So much money and power pushing her into a quiet, cozy little cell. Did you know that Benjamin Price has 3 Rolls Royces? I have only a Fiat, vintage 1953, and Josepha Lantane has just a second-hand bicycle. On sheer horsepower alone, we're definitely outclassed.
We, that's us, you and I.
I'm not forgetting that.
Perhaps I should sit out the witness.
Sit down, Morstan. What do you think I should do?
I don't know, but if your superiors want something done in a certain way, then it's their responsibility, isn't it?
Up to a point, yes.
Then do it. It's nothing but sheer ego to defy them. You're jeopardizing your career and everything we've worked for.
Antoinette, I assure you, on my honor and my experience, that I believe this girl is innocent.
Innocent. A little tramp who doesn't even wear underpants.
If she was accused of that, I wouldn't lift a finger to help her. But this is murder. I have to care about that. Not her. It. Justice.
That's pompous and pretentious.
Is it? Yes, I suppose it is. It shouldn't be. I'm a lawyer and a magistrate. I should be able to say a word like justice without sounding like a stuffed shirt.
Oh, Paul, you're such a schoolboy. You can be hoodwinked into anything.
You should know.
Will you stop this nonsense about the girl?
It's too late, I'm afraid. I tried to warn you, remember? Even before we were married, I told you I was a man of integrity, and you seemed pleased.
A lawyer. I never dreamed you were telling the truth.
We're tricky. Now run along.
Are you going to question the girl again?
Yeah, we'll start with her.
All right. Goodbye, Mr. Marston. Goodbye, Paul. Get home as soon as you can.
I promise. Oh, Antoinette, don't forget your gloves.
Oh, silly of me to leave them here.
No, not a bit silly. You want an excuse to come back for a look at Josepha Lantane.
Really?
Morstan, when I'm questioning the girl, I should ask you to bring another witness for confrontation.
Yeah? Who?
No matter. But when I do, take your time.
What?
Fiddle with papers, tie a shoelace, anything. Just take your time.
Indefinitely?
For a few moments. You'll be able to judge for yourself. See if the girl is here. Bring her in. Sit down, mademoiselle.
Mademoiselle? You called me mademoiselle. One of your tricks?
Sit down, mademoiselle.
I don't think anyone's ever called me that. It's always, hey you, or just, hurry, Josepha, or be careful with that broom, stupid. But never mademoiselle. To get that, I had to go to prison first. But thanks, anyway.
You're welcome. Now then, to resume, I would like to ask you...
That prison, do you know what it is like?
If you would just listen, I would like
How
to ask
would
you
you
about...
like it if 2 dirty old women stripped you to the skin and searched you everywhere horribly?
Prison is supposed to be unpleasant, so that people will avoid being put in it. Now then, if you would just listen to me, I would like to...
picture they took of me. Look at that, I look terrible.
Where'd you get this? Prisoners aren't allowed newspapers.
Ha. Well, you know. In a women's prison, the first few days, you can get anything. The other girls buzz around you, offering you extra food, candy, newspapers. Oh, you paid, don't worry, and tonight or tomorrow night they'll be coming around to me. Your prison.
It's not my prison. And stop babbling.
All right. I'll be good. Just don't put me back in that horrible hole. I'll do anything. I'll confess if you let me go.
Will you just shut up and listen?
Yes, sir. What do you want me to tell you?
Well, we have some unfinished business, you and I. Now then, the name of your lover.
Miguel Astos.
The other man.
He left town weeks ago, and really, he's got nothing to do with all this.
I'm not surprised Astus beat you.
I know. Even Miguel said he only did it in self-defense when I was being too much of an idiot.
Do you want to go back to prison?
No, I'd rather you beat me.
Then I'll ask you just once more. And I warn you
Sorry,
that...
darling. Forgive me. I forgot my gloves.
What?
Now, where could they be?
Antoinette, will you kindly leave us at once?
Oh, there they are.
All right, now go.
Just leaving. Get home as soon as you can, Paul. We have a lot to talk about.
Your wife? You married a young one, eh? Funny, I didn't think you were the type.
Are there any other comments you'd like to make about my wife?
She's very pretty.
Thanks. She liked you too. Now then, the name of your lover? Ah, you're being your sweet, reasonable self again, I see.
I want to be. I cried for 11 hours in that filthy cell. The other women said it was a new record for the prison. And if you send me back, it'll be worse.
So...
I won't give you the name of someone innocent and let you get him mixed up in all this.
I call that being an informer.
I guarantee that in a few minutes you'll give me the name of the man.
All right, I don't mind waiting.
How'd you get on with your employer?
Oh, Madame Price? Oh, she's marvelous. We're all crazy about her. She's been more like a wonderful older sister than an employer to me.
When asked by Inspector Collas of the police, you said, she's all right. You like the snooty icebox type.
I said that about Madame? Oh, I'm an ungrateful pig.
And what about Monsieur Price?
Well, he's very elegant, you know. He's probably very nice, too, but quite honestly, I never understand most of what he says.
Did you have many conversations?
Well, as the parlor maid in his parlor, naturally, he had to tell me things. Don't you talk to your parlor maid?
I will when I have one. So you didn't get along with Monsieur Price?
Well, I wouldn't say that. But you see what I am, a simple girl, and I talk too much. And Monsieur Price is a banker from a noble family, really terrifically well bred.
In other words, there was a gulf between you two.
That's right, a real gulf.
Were you and Ostis on vacation together?
No, Miguel went to the Basque Country because there were great bullfights in Dax, Bayonne, Biarritz, all over. Domingo and Ordonez, mano a mano. You couldn't miss those.
And you?
Oh, I stayed with the family at their country house. So near home for me, I could be with my old papa.
In October, you're all back in Paris. Miguel Ostis' day off was changed from Wednesday to Thursday.
Oh, was that when that happened?
And he began raving of his jealousy.
You ought to remember, he was always raving about something. If it wasn't me, it was the Paris weather, or French food, or cowardly bulls. He never just talked, he raved.
Police interrogation of the cook. 2 weeks after we're all back in Paris, in October, Ostis came bursting into my kitchen. He swore that Joseph had been unfaithful to him. He said, I was a fool to let her go down to the countryside by herself. She's been tripping over roots again, and this time without me.
That cook, still giving me heartburn.
What happened in the country in September?
Well, it rained part of the time. I saw quite a lot of Papa. Had picnics and went swimming with some of the boys and girls I knew from the old days. That sort of thing, nothing much.
Did you enjoy your holiday?
It was nice. Dull, but nice. Why are you so interested in my vacation?
Oh, I'm not really. Just passing the time. Morstan, show him the witness Benjamin Price.
Monsieur Price? He is here?
Hurry, Morstan.
I'm hurrying.
Oh, what? The way I look? Oh, they took everything away from me in prison. Powder, lipstick, everything. Oh, why does he have to see me looking like this? Oh,
Remember I told you you would give me the name of the man?
are you happy doing this kind of work, monsieur?
Try not to hate me too much.
Oh, I never hated anyone, and I don't hate you. But don't be surprised if you hate yourself.
Idiot. Must you be tricked into helping yourself?
Idiot! Because I won't betray someone? Thank you.
Fine. Sit down, Joan of Arc.
Your interrogation is later,
Not
madame.
at all. You've misunderstood. My dear judge, I was just explaining.
Oh,
to
I'm
your
not a
clerk.
judge, madame, only a magistrate. Now then, if you'd be kind enough to wake up.
Charming. What a cozy little office you have here. Strange, isn't it? I feel quite at home here. Perhaps because so many friends and relatives are in the judiciary.
Thank you, madame. Now then, if you'd be kind enough to wait in the corridor.
Wait. In the corridor.
Yes. Or if you'd prefer, in this adjoining room.
And leave you here to question my husband alone without me?
In my opinion, madame, that would be best.
Ridiculous. Why can't I be present?
Because in this office, madame, it is I who give the orders. And with all due respect, I must ask you to wait outside.
Benjamin, did you hear that?
I did, my dear Dominique.
Is that all you have to say?
No doubt our learned friend could conduct himself with more affability, but he may perhaps be pressed for time.
Fantastic, isn't it? I never understand half of what he says.
And we have you to thank, Josepha, for all this unpleasantness.
So it seems, madame.
And to think I was always kind to you, and I had such confidence in you.
Very kind, madame.
Morrison, if you would please show Madame Price into the corridor at once.
Benjamin,
Yes, my dear Dominique.
do you hear the tone of voice in which this man addresses me?
I detected no coarseness or undue lack of courtesy in his address, my dear.
Very well, I'll wait.
Thank you, madame.
I must explain to you, my dear judge, that Dominique, Madame Price, does not mean to be overbearing, but she's descended from an ancient family. She is, in fact, descended from Attila the Hun.
Please sit down.
Thank you, my dear judge.
Oh, I'm not a judge, monsieur. Only a magistrate. Now then, if you could please state your full name, address, and occupation.
Benjamin Price, 112 North Paris Lane, banker.
You've lost weight, monsieur.
A little. You don't look too well, Josepha.
Well, the prison, you know, they don't let us have makeup.
Prison, poor Josepha.
Ahem.
Don't worry about me. You know I can look after myself.
Ahem! Thank you. Rude of me to interrupt, but we have this murder on our hands.
Of course. Pay attention, Josepha.
Yes, sir. Don't worry. He's nice. At first I didn't think so, and he did send me to prison, but he's really very
Be
nice.
quiet!
Yes, sir.
Now, in October, why was Miguel Astis' day off changed from Wednesday to Thursday?
I suppose it was due to some idiosyncrasy of household management.
Would you mind using simpler language in your replies?
I wouldn't mind, but I don't know how.
Did you yourself order the change?
No. Is that simple enough?
Did you know that Miguel Astis had been the lover of Josepha Lantonet?
I share the philosophy of the late Emperor Frederick the Great. In my state, declared the Emperor, every man shall amuse himself as he sees fit.
In addition to Astis, there was another man.
Ah, youth.
Did you know the identity of the other man?
Without infringing on the investigation, may I ask you a question?
Please.
Do you know the identity of the other man?
I think so, yes.
I feel a natural apprehension about my wife, you understand. Do you suppose we can continue to keep the secret between us?
I hope so.
I swear I told him nothing, but my idiot face betrayed me when you weren't now.
Then you admit you are the other man?
I do, and with pleasure.
Thank you for saying that, and simply so I can understand.
Do you know how to shut her up?
Frankly, not for very long, and that by a method I hesitate to employ before a present company.
When did your affair with Josepha Lantonet begin? And where?
At our country house in Champagne in September.
Thursday, 9th September, just before 12 noon.
Yes, I remember I was starting to think about lunch.
Something put it out of your mind?
Man cannot live by bread alone.
Was it sudden? Was it?
To say that for some time I've been becoming aware of Josepha would not be entirely untruthful.
You're answering yes or no?
I am answering, the rest is up to you.
Back to the country house, September the 9th, around 12 noon. We kindly take it from there.
The atmosphere in Champagne is not quite the liveliest, you understand. My wife has her friends, who hunt and ride, but strange as it may seem to you, I am not the outdoor type.
I accept that.
The indoor life, in fact, yields rather more adventure.
Yes, that's why we're all here, isn't it?
Doesn't like it when you keep on straying from the point.
Oh, my apologies. Where were we?
The library at Champagne. I was waxing the floor, remember?
Ah, yes. How could I forget? A superb room, 50 feet in length and almost 30 in diameter. Josepha is an excellent worker, you know, and she had the floor gleaming like a skating rink. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on one's point of view, soon after I entered the room, she tripped.
And fell?
Just so.
You jumped forward to help her, and then you both fell.
My dear chap, that's precisely what happened. How did you know?
Statistics.
Well, there we were, slipping and sliding, and I must tell you that she wears very little in
Oh,
the way of-
he knows that.
I say, your examinations are extremely thorough.
So that's when Josepha Lantonet became your mistress.
My what?
He means me.
Oh, but of course, you are my mistress. I had never thought of it precisely in that way. Semantically, of course, you are entirely correct.
Semantically, legally, biologically, those are the facts, are they not?
Yes.
And from then on,
I had not intended to embark on a prolonged relationship. I mean no offense, my dear.
I didn't even know you were talking about me.
But as I've inferred, Champagne in September offers only limited amusements, and my learned friend, this girl is more attractive than one would think possible.
and Miguel Astis.
Not nearly as attractive. Of course, if your taste runs to sullen Spanish chauffeurs.
No, I mean, how did Astis react?
Oh, Miguel.
He was in the Basque Country, an aficionado. He had the Spanish passion for bullfights.
And in October, we were all back in Paris. What about Astis then?
As you may have surmised, it was found expedient to change his free day. We sent him on errands to remote parts of the city, even to the suburbs. Once, when my plane came back from the south, we sent the chauffeur to wait at Orly Field, and he waited all night at the wrong airport. Meanwhile, I arrived in my taxi at Le Bourget and came home quietly for dinner. Remember?
Miguel caught cold waiting, and he cursed and sneezed for 2 days.
It was marvelous being with Josepha, while the chauffeur waited all night at the wrong airport.
It was the idea of the joke, you understand. There was no real anger between Monsieur Price and Miguel.
Nonsense, I detested him.
Ah, before your affair with Josepha or since?
Oh, long before. For one thing, he was well over 6 feet tall, and I take an instant dislike to anyone taller than I am.
It is.
And naturally, that's not true of General Godard.
Your dislike of Ostis was based entirely on altitude?
No. It's true he was a tall, handsome brute in uniform, but there was also this baffling air of insolence about him. He seemed to resent being ordered to do this or that.
That's true. It was his pride. Oh, he complained bitterly. Just because I'm a chauffeur and a valet, he said, they treat me like a servant.
Why did you keep Ostis in your employ?
At first, because he was a skilled chauffeur, and then afterwards, because I was afraid that if I sent him packing, he might have taken Josepha with him.
Oh, that was kind. Thank you.
Not at all. In any event, the problem of Ostis no longer exists.
Yes, that's certainly true, isn't it? Couldn't have been better. You would arrange it yourself, couldn't?
If you were speaking as a member of the staff of a prosecution, it would perhaps be better if I made no comment.
Why was the loaded revolver kept in the glove compartment of the Rolls Royce?
Which Rolls Royce?
I let myself into that one, didn't I? All right, the limousine. Don't tell me it was standard equipment.
Ah, the vehicle in question is used by our bank. Some matter of taxation is involved. It's used to inconspicuously transport large sums, valuables.
In any event, you knew it was there.
I put it there.
And you're familiar with ordinary firearms?
My dear fellow, as one of the best firearm shots in France.
He gave it up. He's too kind to kill anything. And he won't admit it, but now his eyesight is terrible.
If Monsieur Price wants a lawyer, why don't you let him choose one? You're the first to the scene of the crime after the shooting.
Yes, that is so.
You hesitate.
Only because I believe it is a matter of some importance. I was first.
You were attracted to the scene of the crime by the shot.
Yes, I heard a sound that was like a car backfiring. But in our street, cars don't do that. So I rushed downstairs to investigate.
Upon entering the room, what did you see?
Josepha was lying by the foot of a bed.
Go on.
She was nude.
Yes, that's been established by all witnesses.
My first concern was for Josepha, but I saw once that she was unharmed. She was breathing regularly.
You didn't also happen to notice the body of Miguel Ostis anywhere in the room?
Yes, he was lying just inside the foot of the door. I had to step over him, in fact, to get to Josepha, which I did.
He was still alive, was he not?
He was.
Quite conscious?
Well, he was gasping.
He was trying to speak, to say something.
Well, you must know that his accent was quite coarse, not at all Parisian, and this made him very difficult to understand. He had this tendency to speak wildly at all times, even when he had not been shot.
What were his exact words?
A dying man, and he quibbled about his last words?
Approximately, what were his exact words?
It's unfair to ask Monsieur Price this question in front of me.
I must insist that you answer. What did Ostis say?
I'll answer. Miguel said, Josepha, why did you do it? He said it over and over again.
Why do you answer? Did you hear the word spoken?
I was unconscious. I'm repeating what you told me.
And I'm repeating what Monsieur Price told the police. That is the case, is it not?
Yes. Actually, it was my wife who first spoke to Inspector Colas.
But it was you who heard Ostis accuse the girl. It remains the principal cause of her incrimination.
Nonsense. What about the gun in my hand? Pay no attention, Monsieur Price. There is plenty of evidence against me.
I have the impression that you're approaching me for an injustice in this affair.
Very good. What do you say to that?
No, I'm merely surprised you could so blithely incriminate a girl who has clearly meant something to you.
It is not something I enjoyed doing, you understand.
Nevertheless, your testimony to the police incriminated the girl on the unverifiable words of a dead man.
I'm not entirely sure if I like the implications of the word unverifiable. Are you implying that I invented these words?
It's possible that you might have invented them.
Oh, what? Don't let him say such wicked things. Tell him who you are.
It takes so long.
Point at case here are the last words of a dying man. In a murder trial, these are crucial.
Why? If I were dying, I might say anything.
In a less sophisticated environment, the assumption is that under the circumstances, one tells the truth. Damn it, you've got me talking that way.
I'm honored.
I'm not. Bluntly then, you're the first in the room after the shooting. The girl is unconscious, Ostis is dying. You are alone. You have the opportunity to put into Ostis' mouth words that seem useful.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is. Words like Josepha, why did you do it? If Monsieur Price had made up that sentence, it would be 5 times longer. Nobody would know what it meant.
A valid point. As you yourself have observed, my speech does contain traces of pomposity. And now, if I may comment on your own mode of speech, my learned friend, I'm intrigued by your choice of the word useful. Why would I find it useful to invent Ostis' last words?
Because for some days before the shooting, Ostis suspected you. Furthermore, you knew it.
He didn't know it. I knew it, but Monsieur Price did not.
Ah, there you are.
We'll see.
Watch out for that book. It's loaded.
I present you now with the testimony of Madame Martha Herbeau.
Who?
The cook. Camel face.
Madame Barbeau testifies that just a few days before the shooting, she warned you to end your affair with Joseph Valentine. She warned you that Asta suspected you, and you said to her, "What can I do, Martha? I can't give her up. She's in my blood."
Me? In your blood? What an honor.
Well,
It does not seem to be a characteristic remark for me to make, does it?
are you denying that you made it?
No, it's just that I cannot remember.
If I read more of this conversation, would your memory improve?
You can try, but quite candidly, I doubt it.
Monsieur Price has a terrible memory. He forgets dates, names, places, everything.
Charming, isn't it? The girl is accused of murder, yet all she can think of is how to defend you.
Yes, I find it touching and beautiful. Thank you, Josepha.
It's nothing.
No, it is something very special that I shall always remember.
Please, no tripping over roots here. Furthermore, the cook told you that Astus had been seen brandishing a knife, and you said not to worry, Martha. A knife is a romantic but outmoded weapon in terms of modern armament, especially if opposed by a gun.
I must admit, that sounds like me.
It's ridiculous. Can you imagine Monsieur Price in that kind of conversation with a cook?
Shut up!
And besides, there were no witnesses.
Another word and I'll throw you out!
Just the same, an excellent point has been made. No witnesses.
Well, if it's witnesses that you want, then refer to your conversation at the Volney Club with a Monsieur William Anson. You confided in Monsieur Anson that you loved a certain Jojo. You didn't tell him that your Jojo was also your maid, but you did say, to keep her, I'd be capable of anything. Even a divorce, even a crime.
Oh, that son of a...
Splendid! Your speech is much simpler now. The bartender and 2 other members of the club have verified this conversation.
It's club life for you nowadays.
Is your memory improving?
I seem to remember something like that conversation.
Congratulations.
Those damn witnesses. A private conversation in my club. I can't even resign, I own the place.
It was nothing but talk. Loose talk. He was probably on his 7th whiskey.
Josepha, be still. Are you implying that I killed Astos?
Well, let's see how it shapes up, shall we? Charge of murder to be sustained consists of 3 major elements. Motive, premeditation, opportunity. Your conversation with the cook and at the club, these provide a motive. Opportunity certainly existed, but premeditation may be assumed if you had arranged to be alone. Normally, the cook would have been in that night. You bribed her to go out.
That cook with a mouth bigger than her oven.
You again. Do you know what the penalty is for perjury?
Perjury?
Lying.
Oh, lying. But I don't mean any harm when I do it.
Josepha Lantine, in your interrogation just 2 days ago, I asked you if on the night of the murder, you had any other visitors other than Miguel Astis. You avoided the subject by jabbering about everything under the sun. But when you were finally forced to reply, you said no. Do you wish now to change your answer?
No.
One more chance. Do you have any other visitors?
Send me back to prison.
Sit down.
I insist.
Answer the question, Josepha.
What? Oh, no.
Seems to have answered itself, thank you.
We were together that night, from 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock. It was a simple matter to get rid of the cook, my wife was visiting friends, and Astos was sent on an errand to our branch bank in Lyons.
Yes, all that is confirmed by the police.
I'm a fast driver, and I would have sworn that it was impossible to get back before midnight. It would have seemed impossible.
I imagine you were surprised to see Astis.
Ah, yes, I see what you mean. You're suggesting that he found us together.
Well, a jealous rage. Astis was famous for those, was he not? He attacked you, and you shot him in legitimate self-defense.
Is that a firm offer?
Can't give it to you in writing.
It won't be necessary. I left Josepha at 10 o'clock.
True. 10 o'clock on the dot. I heard the clock striking, and I looked at my watch.
Why 10 o'clock? You could be certain that Miguel wouldn't be back until after midnight.
Unfortunately, my wife's arrival could not be as accurately predicted. Besides, 8 to 10 o'clock, when one is no longer the first fine flush of youth. My dear fellow, if I purchased the investigation, you might omit the last remark from the record.
Besides, it's not true.
Thank you, Josepha.
8 to 10, and well out of the way before anything happened to Astis. You had another plan to meet that night?
No.
Yes.
At 11 o'clock, the time Astis was killed.
No.
Yes.
Surely what you had in mind takes 2.
We had planned to meet at 11 o'clock. I sent Josepha a note telling her so.
No, that's not true. I never got it.
Let us not confuse each other over trifles, my dear.
But I knew nothing about a note. I didn't know anything about meeting at 11.
Out! Morrison, call the guard. Ask him to...
No! I won't interrupt again, I swear it.
You see, my wife was still with her friends. The chauffeur was out of the way. Why grow old waiting?
Why indeed? Your conversation with the cook and at the club These indicate quite a degree of feeling, do they not?
I tell you, he must have been drinking.
All right, Josepha, that's enough. It's not important.
It is! He's accusing me. Tell him!
Actually, Monsieur Price is accusing himself. To keep her, I would be capable of anything. Even a divorce, even a crime. Is that how you feel?
No, it isn't. I'm like that. You said so yourself. But him, never.
I think it's time you spoke for yourself. How do you feel?
This is how. I have a brutal, raging need of her. She's in my blood like a fever that sets me trembling. It's a craving. When I'm deprived of a relief that only she can give me, a dull aching pain throbs at the back of my skull, hammering away at me. But I don't love her. I love nothing about her except for my need for her. Is that love? Does an addict love his heroin or his cocaine?
No, don't say it, please.
I must. I don't care what you think or what you suspect. I'm saying this to break the relationship, to be free. Do you think I would kill Ostos, divorce my wife, and then what? Live with her, torn between her embarrassed silence and insane, explosive jealousy, to perpetuate at the mercy of her mood? No. No, thank you. In time, I think, I could have killed, but only one of us, Josepha or myself. Killing Ostos to have her for myself would buy me my freedom. But killing Josepha, that meant slavery.
I want very much to faint. Very much.
I had to do it. I'm sorry, Josepha.
Gell at least only hit me with his fist.
Can I go now?
Yes. In 1 minute. Just let me file these papers, and then we'll write up the report, and then... Oh, damn. Hello? Savine speaking. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, I'd like very much to have your opinion. Yes, sir, I'm listening.
I was ashamed of my ignorance. I used to wish you'd speak simply so I could understand. Oh, well, finally. Turn around. You used to swallow me with your eyes. At least look at me now. Liar. Does an addict love his drug? Oh, no, that's a pretty speech I'll always remember.
Oh, no, sir, I didn't say anything. I have some people here, and... Oh, yes, sir, I'm listening.
I wanted you to need me the way I needed you. Not a prescription like a painkiller. Oh, forgive me for the headaches I gave you. And if I meant so much to you, forgive me for that, too. And for having pleased you so much. Oh, my God, what lies! Liar! Liar!
Please keep it down.
Just a whisper I gave you wings. What kind of drug is that? Oh, you've gotten rid of that dull aching pain in the back of your skull, haven't you? Well, I've got it now. You gave it to me. Village idiot. That's me. Oh, I believed everything. My wife doesn't understand me. Nobody believes that anymore. And I believed it. I need you, Josepha. My wife and I live like brother and sister. And I have nobody. And I believed even that. I knew it was a lie. And I believed it.
Be quiet. I'm on the phone with the chief prosecutor.
Those poker games that went on all night at your club. How many times I lay weeping at your lies and heard you creeping into the house, tiptoeing upstairs to her. Sneaking up the stairs to your wife.
What are you saying?
Liar! And what a cheap, stupid lie! Do you deny it? Just last week, Tuesday, another all-night game. But before midnight, you were creeping up the stairs to her.
Last Tuesday, I played poker until 7 o'clock in the morning. I played 20,000 francs, new francs.
Stop it! I heard your key in the lock, and your footsteps quietly going upstairs.
Who was it? Who was the man?
It was you! Who else could open the front door with a key every time you had an all-night poker game?
Dominique.
Chief, do you think I can call you back? I think we've had a major development here. Yes, sir. Yes, I'm listening.
My wife. My head. Every time we played poker? You're sure? Dominique.
The Price family? Yes, I know what they stand for. Madame Price. Her too. Monsieur, I especially know what he stands for. So does he.
There'll be a short. Why am I still on stage? I didn't tell anybody to start. Well, that was unexpected. Now we can start.
More insult humor. Can we just do that? Or that drunk guy who exposed himself on the bus.
It's possible, you know.
Is the drunk guy rich?
No.
Famous, maybe?
No.
He must be a politician then.
No!
Then I guess they are here for the Price case.
Say, Philip, did you catch the game the other night?
Of course, sir.
That Beretta's quite a player. But don't worry, my Olympique will take the cup in the end.
We'll see about that, sir. Soccer.
Honestly, Sabine, I must say you surprised me. 48 hours ago, I give you a case about as innocent of repercussions as a grocer charged with blocking the sidewalk. 2 days, 2 little days, and suddenly we have something like the Dreyfus case in our hands. You're pursuing a very dangerous course.
Do I have any choice?
All right? Let's examine the revised situation. It would seem that you've uncovered some indiscretion on the part of Madame Price.
She had a lover.
Horrible! No one in Paris would believe such a thing.
I didn't find the news particularly shocking, but the husband involved, you should have seen the look on Price's face when it hit him.
And for that very reason, I urge you not to believe too much. Husbands, even wives in such circumstances, are notoriously vindictive.
I'm aware of that.
And furthermore, to conclude that such a situation inevitably leads to homicide is sheer insanity. I mean, if that were the case, we'd hear nothing but gunfire all day long, and the streets of Paris be choked with funeral processions.
I draw no conclusions. I prefer that you judge the testimony for yourself.
All right?
Ready, Morrison?
Yes, sir.
Madame Leblache, would you like a seat?
Question. Are you not prepared to make a new statement? Answer, yes. I want to settle with that tramp.
What?
I'm only reading.
He actually used that word?
His speech became surprisingly colloquial.
It was not I who first reached the scene of the crime, it was my wife.
Does he explain his original statement?
Go on, Morrison.
Question. Why did you previously state that you were the first to arrive? Answer, it was my wife's idea. Question. Why did you agree to this if it was not true? Answer, I was completely bewildered and I had complete confidence in Dominique. Besides, I thought that if I said I was the first, I could help Josepha by suppressing the statement Dominique told me Astos made when he was dying, in which he accused Josepha of the shooting.
Is that true?
Inspector Colas confirmed that Price withheld the information until it was dropped by his wife.
Question. What did you see when you entered the room? Answer, my wife bending over Josepha was unconscious on the floor. I believed what she told me then that Josepha had killed her lover, but I think now that she was just putting the revolver in Josepha's hand.
As I said, the words of a vindictive husband.
Go on, Morrison.
Question. Astos is much taller than you. How is it possible that your wife could have mistaken him for you?
An excellent point.
Answer. It was due to modesty. Question. Whose modesty? Answer. Astos' modesty. The room was in total darkness. My wife fired at a shadow she thought was mine. Poor Astos, if he were at all like me, would be alive today. Because in such circumstances, I like to see what I'm doing. I'm only reading.
Go on.
But for Astos' modesty, my wife would now be a rich, beautiful young widow, a decent interval of mourning. Dominique looks marvelous in black, by the way, and she would be free to marry her lover. Question, who is the man? Answer, Mr. John Bennett, 139 Elm Street, Paris, 7th District, telephone 555-2893. Question, how is it that you're so certain? Answer, he is my best friend.
Charming lot, your prices.
They're not my prices. And furthermore, what they're accused of isn't illegal. Not even unpopular.
Question, there's no doubt in your mind that Mr. Bennett is the man? Answer, none whatever. He and my wife were inseparable due to their mutual passion for horses. Or so I thought. They spent all the holidays with us at Champagne, hunting, riding, racing. Now I remember how many times when they came back from the trails, they were exhausted and the horses were fresh. Question, do you now formally accuse your wife of murdering Astos? Answer, I do.
Well, that's illegal. And probably even unpopular at that.
She makes the same accusation against him, doesn't she?
He has a few details, some of them quite convincing. The gloves, Morrison.
Coming up. Question, do you actually believe that your wife planned a cold-blooded, premeditated murder? Answer, ha. H exclamation mark. That's what he said. Answer, question, can you be more precise? Answer, she got the note I intended for Josepha, and she expected to find me in the room. Furthermore, I called to her attention that she was still wearing her gloves, so that her fingerprints would not appear on the ground anywhere in the room.
In the police interrogation, did he not mention that she was wearing her gloves?
No.
Question, why did you withhold this information from the police? Answer, because it didn't seem important. Question, why does it seem important now? Answer, when a wife has a lover, all her actions seem more important.
God knows that's true. But it has no legal significance whatsoever. I'm sure she had a reasonable explanation for everything.
She was fantastically good. Poised, calm, serene, sat there like Whistler's mother, dressed by Balenciaga. And then suddenly, a tiny crack in that glossy disposition.
Question, did you wear gloves that night, madame?
This was followed by a terrible silence.
I made a note, silence, and then, finally answer, it's possible that I just come in from outdoors. I heard the shot, and it's possible that I didn't pause to take off my gloves.
Here, she realized that her husband had talked.
Question, you seem pale, madame. Would you like a glass of water? Answer, no. If I am pale, it is only because of the strain on me. I can no longer conceal the truth. I love my husband, whatever his shortcomings, but I've endured too much.
Here, her voice broke. And very reluctantly, she told us her story. Read us that tender chapter in the home life of the Price family, Morriston.
Question, on entering the room, what did you see? Answer, Astos was lying dead on the floor, and my husband was on his knees beside Josefa. At my entrance, he gave a wild cry of alarm, like some trapped animal. I was terrified, and in my panic, with his frenzied pleadings in my ears, I became his accomplice. I was not wearing my gloves, but he used them to wipe the fingerprints from the weapon, then he put it in Josefa's hand.
God, you read badly.
I'm a clerk, I read like one.
Would you like to hear what they said when they were finally face to face?
No. Spare me. They actually repeated their accusations?
Savagely. Shouted unprintable things to one another. Monstrous accusations. And then they signed them.
Good work. Splendid. Identical confessions. They accuse each other. Not very conclusive, is it?
Not so far, no.
Morriston, would you mind running down to the second tribunal waiting for the decision in the Trevelyan case? Let me know how it turns out.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we want to give this matter careful consideration, don't we? Ostis is dead, the maid is unconscious. The husband and wife accuse each other, and generally speaking, that canceled out their testimony. Result? No witnesses.
That's true.
How much of all this did Giuseppe Latin know?
So far, nothing.
Ah. She has a lawyer now, doesn't she?
I signed her one, but she refused to see him or have anything to do with him.
So, what are you planning to do next?
Well, to begin with, we might as well let the girl go. That is the first step, is it not?
You let the girl go, the whole case explodes. The papers are whispering already. With the girl cleared, they're wrong.
That's true.
Scandal is like mud. Give it time to dry, and it turns to dust. Then deal with it.
To protect the Prices?
Yes, damn it. I know it's not equal protection under the law, but the prices just aren't equal. Condemn me if you must. I'm scared of them.
So am I.
And what's the harm, finally? If the case remains the affair of a parlor maid and a chauffeur, I give you my word that 2 months' time won't matter to anyone.
Except, of course, to the girl.
Even she would be better off in the long run without this scandal trailing along behind her.
LeBlash, have you ever been to a women's prison?
Why?
Oh, I was just wondering what you thought of conditions in them.
No, I have not been to a woman's prison. Also, I am not a parlor maid who is sleeping with a Spanish chauffeur and her boss. Wake up, Sabine. The girl's not enough of an ingenue for you to be acting like a juvenile.
2 months, you say?
Not even that. 6 weeks.
6 weeks? No, damn it, I can't.
A month.
No, not 1 day. Why should a girl have to pay for the prices? Because they're so much richer than she is?
You'll be finished today?
You asking me or telling me? I hope you finish today, yes.
Well then, that's that. In coming to a decision, have you considered your wife? I mean, she has a stake in your future, doesn't she?
Yes, very much so. I know whatever I do, I can count on Antoinette.
Well then, you're a lucky man. Good luck, Sabine, with everything.
Hello, Antoinette. How are you, darling? Me? I'm fine. I had a few minutes between chores, and I wanted to see how we were getting along. The case? Well, I think it's going great, but there seems to be a difference of opinion. I might be taken off it before the day is through. The chief prosecutor is a what? Antoinette, where did you learn such a word? Oh, that's what your mother used to call me. Antoinette, What if your mother was right? I mean, what if things were rough here for a while? No new apartment, car. Thank you, Antoinette. Goodbye.
The blush is gone? You seem better.
Yes. We'd better get to work, though. LeBlanche replied that if I wanted to finish on this case, we'd better work fast.
Yeah, that's the rumor in the building. The girl is waiting. Do you want her?
How's she behaving?
Hard to tell. She's sleeping on a bench.
Seems like this case is a lot more strain on me than it is on her. Bring her in. Sit down. Expecting somebody?
No. Monsieur is gone.
Dear?
Monsieur Price. A big mouth. I'm even worse than the cook. And he was playing poker all night long. Does telling the truth ever help anybody?
In my official capacity, I don't think I ought to answer that.
He was terribly upset, wasn't he?
Reasonably so. What's wrong with you?
Nothing. Now. It's over. I want to confess.
What?
I'm just not bright enough to keep track of all my lies. The strain is too much. I want to confess.
Anything special?
I killed Miguel. Right! Take it down! You've been writing down even my sneezes the past 2 days, and suddenly you're helpless. I'm confessing.
Here, look at me. Why are you being such an idiot?
A conscience that jabs me like a red-hot spear? You call that idiotic?
If you're saying all this to protect Monsieur Price, I should tell you that...
Protecting him, after what you heard him say to me in this room?
Fine. Take it, Marston.
Thank you. I killed Miguel. I shot him with a pistol kept in the Rolls Royce.
Which Rolls Royce?
The limousine. I shot him. Of course, I didn't mean to kill him. Only to wound him, but there you are. Don't you want to ask me any questions?
And interrupt you in the middle of your confession?
I don't mind.
All right, then why did you kill him?
Ah, his brutality. He beat me. You know that from witnesses, don't you? Well, that night again because he was suspicious.
You had no bruises.
He held me by the hair and beat my head against the floor. That's how I got this bump. I thought he was going to kill me, so I fired. I feel better now.
Where was the gun?
When I shot him? In my hands, of course.
No. I mean, where was it in your room? In your purse? In a drawer? In the bed? Under the bed?
Under the bed. I reached for it. I hardly knew what I was doing. He was giving me such a thumping.
The shot was fired from a distance of 10 feet.
I broke away from him. The gun was under the other side of the bed.
How did it get there?
He struggled for it. I knocked it out of his hand. It fell to the floor and I kicked it. He's not writing anything.
Go on. Take it, Marston. Write it down exactly as she said it. There's no longer any case against Madame Price.
I'm sorry I didn't confess right away. Madame Price? I thought it was him.
That's none of your business. Go on with your confession. Oh? Where's that red-hot spear of conscience that was jabbing you a moment ago?
Sort of comes and goes.
Idiot.
What's this about Madame?
It appears she was the first in the room. She found you.
Madame? But he heard Miguel accuse me. His last words. Oh, then he didn't die thinking I'd killed him. Oh, thank you for that. Monsieur Price used that against me.
He thought it was true. It was his wife who said she heard Ostis accuse you.
Miguel, do you hear? Are you listening, my poor Miguel? Do you think he is listening somewhere? Do you think he knows now that I am innocent?
Perhaps. I hope so.
Innocent or not, if he could get his hands on me right now, I'd get a good clip on the ear. Forgive me, Miguel. I should have known it was you who really loved me.
When you're done consulting with the spirit world, there are a few things I'd like to take care of.
She killed Miguel? That crazy Spaniard. He and Madame also?
No.
They weren't not anything?
She expected to find her husband in your bedroom.
Oh. Died by mistake? Like a wrong number? Punish her! Put her in prison or she can have my room! You must. Miguel must be avenged.
To a Spaniard, these things are terribly important. You must punish her. I'll help you.
Oh, yeah. You're a great help. You deny everything and you confess everything. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry, but please let me help.
Just shut up. I'm thinking. Do you know her wardrobe?
Yes.
Everything.
Everything. Even her underwear. Do you want me to search her?
Stop babbling. Just sit there. Morrison?
Well, at last.
Sorry to have kept you waiting, madame. Please sit down.
Thank you. Ah, Josepha. It would appear prison seems to agree with you.
Thank you, madame. It's possible to get used to anything.
Now, if you don't mind, there are a few things I'd like to clear up.
Very well.
Who is Monsieur John Bennett?
A childhood friend.
Children grow up. They learn new games. In October, 3 months ago, you yourself ordered a new key to the front door of your house. Why?
I had lost mine. I wanted to replace it.
But the locksmith swears that you had your key, that you, in fact, gave it to him so that he could copy it. Why?
I must have needed a duplicate.
And where is that duplicate now, madame?
I don't know. I may have misplaced it. Really, this all seems to be a great fuss about nothing at all.
I'm content that you be the judge of that. However, this is a murder trial and bears directly on your own motive.
Olay! I was thinking of something else. Excuse me.
Thinking of something else. Does she ever think of anything else? Really, then? My husband was carrying on with his unwashed rabbit under my own roof, humiliating me before my own servants. Very well, then. I found a means of consolation. We may investigate it, if you like, until doomsday.
I'm content that we drop the matter. Except for one minor point. Do you have any money of your own, madame?
Really, I'm not thinking of opening an account here, you know. We are a very old, and if I may say so, distinguished family. Not merchants or bankers.
So you're dependent on Monsieur Price. You knew from the servants' gossip, did you not, that your husband visited Josepha from time to time?
Yes, of course.
Do you know when?
No.
On the early afternoon on the day of the shooting, your husband sent a note fixing a rendezvous with Josepha for 10 o'clock that night. Josepha never got that note. Do you know anything about it, madame?
Nothing whatever.
You dined with friends that night, correct?
Yes, Monsieur and Madame Belvoir.
Was that a long-standing invitation?
No, actually it was arranged that same day.
Arranged by them or by you?
I don't remember. We're very old friends. What possible difference can it make?
Well, if you had intercepted your husband's note and knew that he was to be at in Josepha's room at 10 o'clock that night, you may have wanted to give him the illusion that he had, so to speak, a clear field. Only suggestion. When was the last time you used the Rolls-Royce limousine, madame?
The limousine? Let me see.
The night before, madame, for the gala.
Ah, yes. My husband and I attended a diplomatic gala at the opera.
Madame wore a ball gown, gray satin with a train. Well, she looked lovely in it. The next morning, even before I did the room, it had already been sent to the cleaners.
Yes, a long skirt. Someone probably tripped on it at the crushing intermission.
All afternoon before the gala, Miguel had been working on a leak in the crankcase of the limousine. The floor of the garage was covered in grease, and he didn't finish it in time to clean it up.
Who does your cleaning, madame?
I have the name written down at home.
Lacoste and Bergerie, Cleaners and Dyers, 56th Avenue, Victor Hugo. Clothes dyed black for morning in 24 hours. Madame.
Was there grease on the skirt of your ball gown that night, madame?
I did go to the garage that night. I realized I had left my gloves in the car. Forgot them.
Did you find them?
Yes,
Where?
I had left them in the glove compartment. It's what a glove compartment is for, isn't it?
Yes, but in this glove compartment, there also happened to be a fully loaded revolver.
No, it was no longer there.
Oh, I see. Did you mention the disappearance of this weapon to anyone?
As a matter of fact, I did. I told Miguel in the morning, and he told me my husband had taken it. There was no longer any need to keep it in the car, he said, and he would return it to the bank.
I would help if this could be verified, but Astis, unfortunately, is dead.
We all have to go when our time comes.
Nevertheless, you found your gloves, so the trip to the garage was not a total loss.
And they were such beautiful long gloves, buttoning up to the elbow. Not the kind that are easy to put on or take off.
Well, I did. They were tight and uncomfortable, and I wanted to smoke.
Sitting in the back seat of the limousine, And you put your gloves in the compartment up front?
We gave some friends a lift home in the car. There were 6 of us in all. My husband and I sat up front. Ask him, he will confirm it.
Touché.
I am telling the truth. When I entered the room, Ostis was dead, and my husband was kneeling beside your charming assistant, naked as a fluffed chicken, in a faint.
The traffic in my room that night.
You're quite certain that you mentioned the disappearance of this weapon to Ostis?
Yes, I remember it quite clearly.
Since you do not know then who had taken the gun, why didn't you mention it to your husband?
I meant to, in fact, but by the time I woke up the next morning, he'd already gone to the bank.
And what time did you wake that morning, madame?
I think,
Madame rang for her coffee at noon.
Is that correct?
yes, I think so.
Ah, at noon, madame, Ostis had already left for the branch bank in Lyon.
I sent for Ostis before I rang for my coffee. I woke up at 11, and when I rang, it was the cook who answered. I told her I wanted to see the chauffeur and then to send Josepha with my coffee. I didn't ring that morning, did I, Josepha? It was the cook who told you to bring up my tray, wasn't it?
Yes, Madame.
See, I am telling the truth. I took it for granted my husband took the loaded gun from the car. He knew Ostis was maniacally jealous, and even though he had planned to get him out of the way while he frolicked in the maid's room, I dare say it seemed wise not to leave a loaded gun where Ostis could get at it. But it's certainly plausible, isn't it?
Seems to be.
Oh, I don't think he meant to kill Ostis, particularly since his date with Josepha was for 11 o'clock, and he didn't believe Ostis could conceivably get back until long after midnight. But Ostis did manage to return soon after 11 in time to see them together, and, well, you know what happened then.
Not an unlikely reconstruction, I must admit. However, how do you know that your husband was to meet Josepha at 11 o'clock?
What do you mean?
I mean, how did you know that their date was for 11 o'clock that night, madame?
I didn't know. You told me. You asked about a note he sent.
Ah, true, I did. But I said 10 o'clock. Asked about the note twice. And both times, deliberately I must admit, I said the date was for 10 o'clock. But you knew the true time. How, madame?
You said 11. You must have said that.
Morrison, quickly, your notes.
On the day of the shooting in the afternoon, your husband sent Josepha a note fixing a rendezvous for 10 o'clock that night. And here again, if you had intercepted your husband's note and knew that he was to be in Josepha's room at 10 o'clock.
No, no!
Then how did you know the time that was in the note? Answer, madame. It's crucial now, because you are contradicted not by my words, your husband's, or any other witnesses, but by your own words. How did you know your husband was to meet Josepha at 11 o'clock that night? How?
I got the note.
And the rest of it?
No, I deny it.
You there, guard!
You're arresting me?
You should have some time to think, madame. This affair can conceivably be reconstructed as a crime of passion, brought on by your husband's misconduct. Your lawyers will undoubtedly give you that advice.
And you?
I'm not a judge, madame, only a magistrate. Madame is not to be left alone.
Oh, don't worry about my attempting suicide. I'm not quite so obliging.
They've got class, eh? My God, if I'd have killed someone, I'd be trembling like a leaf. Especially if I got caught. You were sensational. He was brilliant, wasn't he?
Very.
Here, Morrison, get this countersigned by the chief prosecutor.
Right.
It's a warrant for your release. When he brings it back, you're free.
Don't trip. Free.
Don't you like that idea?
Oh, sure, that damn prison. I'll really be free. The man who loved me is dead. The man I loved thinks I'm some kind of marijuana bush. That's not free enough. I'm also out of a job.
You'll find something else.
I'm sure. For the reference I can expect from Madame, cashier in a bank. Don't worry, I've got plans.
Good.
Cabaret! I heard about it in prison. 2 of the girls in my cell told me. They said I could make 200 francs a night anywhere in Montmartre. Those 2 made even more than that. Probably why they were in prison. But they told me where to go, who to ask for, everything. Don't you think it's a good idea?
It's not exactly for me to say, but
Come on. You know more about me than anybody else except for Miguel and Monsieur Price and, well, few people. Very few.
I just don't think you're like the girls you met in prison.
No, truly?
Truly.
After all you've heard about me?
After all I've heard.
A man like you, I mean, you're practically a judge.
Practically.
I don't know what to say. I'm bowled over. Would you like it if, you know, I became your maid?
Josepha.
I mean, I like you too. Otherwise, with all that's just happened, I wouldn't dream of it.
No.
I know, but I would have been in the soup if not for you, and I do like you, and well, you know so much about me already, so what if I work for you?
No. Thank you, Josepha, but no.
You sure? I mean, I know it's not a sensational offer or anything, but I don't have much.
It is. Don't let anyone tell you it isn't. I'm touched and I'm pleased you should offer it, but no.
All right. But you've done so much. Would you like it if I didn't work in the cabaret?
Yes, very much so.
All right. In December, with those drafts, who needs it?
You should find yourself a good job. A nice fellow. Settle down.
A nice fellow? You think I'm good luck? I don't know. A nice fellow? You think they're all that easy to find? Now you're nice. In a way, you know, it's a pity.
Yes, it is. Luckily, I'm old enough to say thank you, no. But I'm young enough to regret it. Just focus on finding a good job and a nice fellow. That's an order.
Yes, sir.
What is it? Where's the note?
On the chief's desk.
Didn't he sign it?
Sign it? He didn't even look at it. I think he's willing to release us, but not her.
I'll see about that.
I'll wait till I get to the chief's office. It's teeming with judges, deputies, politicians, all related to the prices.
Will he... Is he in trouble?
Trouble? Ha! H exclamation mark.
Because he got me out of trouble? Oh, no.
Don't worry, the chief has these sullen periods.
What will they do to him?
He'll live. Not as well if he would have followed orders.
They won't make him a judge?
A judge? Ha! HA, 2 exclamation marks.
It's my fault. Me and my stupid innocence. If I had any sense at all, I'd be guilty and everyone would be better off.
That was Madame. She wishes to make a statement. When he comes back, if he comes back, let him know.
Where's Morriston?
Outside, with Madame. She wanted to make a statement.
I thought she might. Here's your order for your release. Sign.
No, I don't want it.
What's wrong with you?
No, I refuse. You were in trouble because you got me out of trouble.
That's none of your business.
It is. Send her home. I'll confess. I don't mind, honest.
You damn fool.
I was just putting on an act about the prison. It was fun. I liked it.
Idiot.
All her relatives, presidents and prime ministers and deputies. Why should you have that lot on your hands? With me, even if they sent me to the guillotine, you wouldn't even get a complaint on a postcard.
Who's been telling you all this? Was it Morriston?
No, I guessed.
Listen, you owe me nothing. They gave me this shabby little room and a whole bunch of puzzle pieces, and for once, just once, the machine worked, and the pieces got put together. You just happen to be one of those pieces. I'm glad of that.
I'm glad you were running the machine. But I want you to be a judge.
I'll make it. I promise. I'll see someone take you out with this. Guard!
So, it's finished?
Finished.
Oh, well. I wish I could give you something. A souvenir. Please. It's nothing, but it would be a keepsake. See, it's from the bullfights. The bull and the matador and everything. Miguel brought it back to me last year from Bayonne. Please.
Thank you, Josepha. Thank you very much.
It's nothing.
Remember, good job, a nice fellow. You'll know how to make him happy.
I hope I remember.